I think this game looks familiar. I hope it is, anyway. If you haven't heard of it, it is Palworld. This came out this month of January. It's just about over at this point. And it quickly became a hugely popular game on Steam and on Xbox. And it's to no surprise, I mean, people have been lusting for a game that's like Pokemon, but looks better and is a different platform than just the Nintendo consoles of yore. And it's proven to be quite the hit so far, even if in early access, with its issues and such alike. But that's not what we're going to be talking about today necessarily, is about the game, even though it is important. We're going to be talking about the game and how it runs on its minimum system requirements. So I've gone ahead and zoomed it in a little bit so you can see it for yourself. So this is the official minimum system requirements for the game, which is a Intel Core i5 3570K, which is at stock speeds, 16 gigabytes of RAM, and the GPU being a 2 gigabyte GeForce GTX 1050. In playing this game and actually looking at the minimum system requirements later on, I realized that I actually have something that would meet these requirements, although I'm a little bit above the minimum GPU requirement, as you might be able to see right above my head. I've got only a GTX 1050 Ti, and I say only just because you might notice that there's going to be something about that later on in this video when we get into actually playing the game. But for the CPU, I have the exact match that they're looking for, the Core i5 3570K at 3.4 gigahertz, and of course, I'm running mine at stock speeds today to match the requirements at 3.4 gigahertz. And they say an SSD is required to run this game, although I will mention, just to be transparent here, I am running Windows 11 on this computer, and it is also installed on a spinning Rust hard drive. The actual game I have installed on an external USB 3 SSD, which is running in USB 3 mode, so it shouldn't cause that big of an issue, I hope. But just going into this, if there are some weird performance quirks as a result of this being on a hard drive, well, then now you know. So I just figured I'd point that out now before we get into the actual gaming. And for those who wanted a closer look at the specs in GPU-Z, here you go. This is the gigabyte version of the card running at the speeds shown on the screen, and running it with the latest NVIDIA drivers available to it, 551.23. So I think with that, let's go ahead and get into the game, shall we? Alright, and now we're in the menu. So for the settings that I'm using, I have set it to the native resolution of this particular monitor, which is 1920 by 1080. We've got it set to 60 FPS, I've turned off motion blur, and we're running FXAA for the anti-aliasing, and all the settings basically set to low except for shadows, and I'll show you why once we get into the game. Otherwise, everything else is just going to be whatever, and I'm running a controller today instead of using keyboard and mouse, so yeah, your mileage may vary on that input method. But let me go ahead and get a single-player game started, and we'll check it out. What do we got for character? Oh, God, did you see that? What was that? Alright. Let's pick somebody. Yeah, you got the beastly chest. Let's just roll with whatever you are. I have my own save, but we're just gonna rock with whatever preset it gives me. Alright, and after skipping the cutscene, here we are, and we're in the first map, which is, or the first area, which is Windswept Hills. And as you can see, we're holding around low 40s in the FPS department, and that's going to be a bit of a common theme with these settings. Now, let me explain why I decided to do medium shadows while everything else is set to the lowest at this point. So if I go into options and I set the shadow quality down to low and save, you might notice something. The performance does get a little bit better in some spots, like right here. But then there's other aspects of the game where you look out and it's like, it's not really that much better. You don't tend to get a lot more frames. So in my opinion, having the shadows basically reduced to making it look like an old PlayStation 2 game doesn't really work for me. It doesn't really sit well. So in my opinion, I honestly would just sacrifice the FPS that you might potentially get and just use medium shadows above all else, and voila, you know, you're going to get more consistency, but you're also going to get a much better looking game. And in my opinion, all the rest of the settings at this hardware level don't really matter. And the same thing can go for handhelds too, like the ROG Ally, the Steam Deck, or the Lenovo Legion Go. At least in my opinion, I think this is about what you're going to expect. You can cap the frame rate around 30 to 40 FPS at whatever the native screen resolution of those displays are, and I would honestly say leave it there. One thing I have noticed, at least with these settings, it seems like it's using well over 3 gigabytes of VRAM, so I think they're being a bit optimistic on the GPU front by saying that you need a 2 gigabyte GTX 1050. It makes me wish that I had one of those, but unfortunately I don't. This is the closest thing I got. And see, walking through these trees right now, I know that the shadows do tend to affect it a little bit, but it's not to a point where I think that it's going to be a big deal. I think most people, especially casual players, would be totally fine with these frame rates, and so I honestly think that should be sufficient in my opinion. Of course, other people might beg to differ, but one thing that we're also fighting against right now is the CPU. Since we're running the 3570K at stock speeds, and for that matter, it's a 4-thread CPU, we might be a little bit screwed as far as what frame rates we can actually achieve, especially when we're in combat. I can't imagine that we're going to have a good time. I always forget you can't build with A, it's always X. I keep doing that. Alright, and there is our first level up, so we need to unlock our Pal Sphere, so let's go do that. Yeah, one thing that's definitely evident is the draw distance is very low, so despite what you might see on the screen, I'm noticing quite a lot of pop-in, especially you can see that grass there as I'm walking towards it as it's popping in like that. And so, yeah, it's a small price to pay for running the game at these settings. That's a good spot for the wood to be jutting out of the ground like that. Early access. That's what we're looking at here. But that's okay. At least as far as the first get-go is concerned, I don't know where I'm walking. It so far seems to be playing very acceptably. I would totally play this if I had nothing else. This seems like I'd get along just fine. Now, if you're the one who's going to be hosting, I certainly wouldn't trust this. I was actually playing earlier today, this very same game, very same computer, and I was actually hosting a single-player game with a friend, and I was having some frame dips, and it would occasionally stutter, not to the point like it would make the game unplayable, mind you. It wasn't like it was all the time either. But what I did notice is if you were like fast traveling or if somebody was fast traveling, it would spike the CPU usage and it would cause some stuttering on your side, like the player side of the PC who's hosting. So definitely I would encourage you, if you do have a computer like this, don't host single player if you can. It does work fine, at least for 2 people, but anything more than that, and I honestly would just say no, it's not really worth it. You probably want to host the single-player game elsewhere, so that way you're not at the mercy of whatever players or friends you're going to be with, because that's just, yeah, not a good time. But I'm sure most people probably know that. Okay, let's see. Walking down here towards some water. And it doesn't really seem like the water affects the frame rate all that much, even though it might look like it, but it actually seems to be okay. It seems to be handling that just fine. Yeah, not a whole lot we can do unless we get some stone. I'm going to have to go and find some more of that. There's a stone right there. I shouldn't have put the primitive workbench where I did, but like I said, you kind of live and learn, so oh well. So I can go find some more stone here. So I think now that we got a little bit of the game assets loaded in here, let me see about changing some settings here. Now, unfortunately, I can't show on-screen benchmarks yet. I got to figure out how that works in MSI Afterburner, so you'll have to bear with me and just keep your eye on the FPS numbers if you're actually serious about trying to play this on this hardware. But let's see if we can try changing these settings here. So instead of doing very low, let's just try changing it to the low preset, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, now that we got the low preset here, we should be loaded down a little more. And it certainly has put more load on the GPU. The frame rates tanked down into the low to mid 30s, it looks like. CPU usage, now that stuff's kind of rendered itself back in, actually seems to be okay. We're more GPU bound. which makes a lot of sense, actually. Although, we are getting more CPU usage, depending on where we look and where we walk, so definitely having all the PALs in certain areas might be affecting the frame rate too, but I'm going to especially blame that preset. Bada boom, bada bing. So now we can go and grab our other minerals that we need. On the bright side, though, if you're just playing the single player, I haven't noticed any like major stuttering thus far. It seems fine. So for me personally, I honestly want to say, and I doubt any of the developers might be watching this, but if they are, in my opinion, the CPU makes a lot of sense. The GPU, I honestly think on the minimum system requirements, needs to be lifted from the GTX 1050 2GB to the 4GB GTX 1050 Ti. I know that might not sit well with some people. However, in my opinion, it really does seem like the 1050 Ti and the i5 3570K are a match made in heaven. They seem to work really well together in this game, and they tend to trade blows with each other depending on which one's being loaded down more, whether it be the CPU or the GPU. And it really does seem like this is about the best way to go. And you really should have 4 gigabytes of VRAM to run this game satisfactorily. And as you can see, the system RAM, even though the game claims it needs 16 gigs of RAM, and I would definitely recommend that you do that, it honestly seems like you could just barely scrape by with 8 gigs of RAM. And subscribe if you want to see me test that with this hardware, because I would certainly be willing to try that out. But I think for the sake of today, we'll leave it as it is. But I honestly think with this GPU, you might barely be able to get away with 8 gigs of RAM if you had an SSD as your OS drive. There we go. So now we need to attack a PAL and see if we can capture him. See how that goes. Oh, did you just notice? Like, my arm is clipping through my body there. That's healthy. Yeah. This game's definitely got some progress to be made, I guess, as far as fixing some of these bugs. Or, like, I guess this is a glitch. It's not really a bug. It doesn't really break the game. It's just hilarious to look at. So, you know, again, I'll give the devs some slack here. I get the feeling that this GPU is not going to like what I'm about to do next, so I'm going to set the maximum FPS to 30, and then we're going to try the medium settings. I do not expect that this is going to end well for this hardware, but we're about to find out. Okay. It kind of works. Okay. It's trying, at least. It's definitely GPU bound now. We're probably running out of VRAM, as I can see the system RAM usage shot up by at least 500 megabytes. So we've definitely saturated the 4 gigabytes of VRAM, but it's not stuttering. It's just running a little bit worse. But honestly, for this preset, in the mid to high 20s, I'm impressed it's that high. Oh, okay. It's kind of dipping a little bit when you got more objects in the distance. But that's not bad. I mean, I honestly was expecting it to be a lot worse than that. And of course, this is just in the early game. Other areas and other spots might actually affect the frame rate a little bit more so than it is right now. And I might consider loading my single player save temporarily just so we can load this thing down a little bit and find out. But at least on the surface, it seems like it's okay. I mean, granted, I probably wouldn't play with this preset. It seems like it's a bit much for the GPU. But again, it seems like the CPU is actually handling it all right. Better than I would ever expect it to, actually. Oh, there was a stutter. Did you guys see that? Yeah, maybe it's not perfect. Maybe not. Yeah. Stupid. Ooh, yeah, 23, 22. Yeah, I mean, it's scraping by. That poor 1050 Ti is scraping by here. But yeah, it's not CPU bound. Oh, yeah, that's right. It's running into the frame limiter now. I guess I shouldn't have done that. That was kind of a silly thing to do, but I didn't think it was going to be this good, so I guess let me crank that back up here. Oh god, that was a bad idea. Okay, we didn't lose that much health. Alright, we're good. Okay, particle effects don't seem to bother it that much. How about the reflections? Actually, reflections don't seem to mind all that much, but again, yeah, it's cinematic at best, and that's kind of the thing with this preset. If you're into that, sure. I personally am not. I'd like it to kind of stay above 30 FPS consistently, so I personally would lower it, but it's a pretty good showing for the 1050 Ti. I think for this game it works really well, but I think medium's about as high as I would comfortably go with this GPU since you're running out of VRAM and it's overflowing into the system RAM. So I think with that, we probably should go ahead and I'll put it back down and I'll do the setting like I was doing earlier where I did FXAA and we did the shadow quality on medium. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the resolution to 900p and we'll see how that goes. Okay, let me just set this back to full screen. I've manually set the resolution to 1600 by 900, so it's going to look a little bit softer now, but that's all right. So this is the same settings as before, but at 1600 by 900, and ooh, we're in the 50s. High 40s, low 50s, okay. Okay, it's capped to 60 at this point, which I think that's about a realistic cap that you'd probably want to set for a system like this, but I think just for good measure, let me... Oop, I hit the wrong button. I've been fumbling the controller today a lot. So let me uncap this and let's just see. What would it theoretically get up to if I uncap it? Oh, I think it's V-synced. Let me try that again. There we go. So GPU bound around 73 FPS in that particular spot. But honestly, I mean, being realistic, I don't think, again, you're going to want to play this game above 60 FPS with a CPU like this, especially if you're hosting single player on a computer like this with this CPU. And I think an overclock would certainly help with that, but I don't think it's going to be your life savior at the same time. So, me personally, I would, yeah. But I'll leave it like this for now. So let me go ahead and set back up this workbench. And we'll just kind of set up camp here in this flat area. And so we just need to build our PAL box. So what do we need? Okay, so we need some more wood and we need some more stone. Not a problem. We can certainly do that. Doesn't seem like mining is going to cause a problem here. And then I think before we build our PAL box, let's go ahead and we'll set the preset to the low preset. And let's see how that looks. Okay, we're rendering in. We got the lighting, which is meaning that we're almost at nighttime. It's kind of screwing with the frame rate. Ooh, yeah, there it goes again. So it's dipping again to like where it was before. So we're kind of in the low to mid 40s sometimes. It kind of bounces around depending on where you're looking, which I guess that's to be expected. So let's go ahead and... Oh, I need some more wood. So let's go grab some more wood. Fortunately, there's a piece right there. Bada boom, bada bang. So let's go ahead and we'll put a PAL into here. Actually, let's summon it and then do that. Bada boom, bada bang. Good deal. Alright, I'm going to eat some berries. Good deal. Alright. I think with that, it's kind of dipping into the high 30s with this lighting. It's not really thrilled about it. Let's see. I think I had one PAL sphere left. Let's see if we can catch this Cativa here. Use those man arms. Oh, and it's running off. Hey, come here. Oh, god damn it. Well, I guess there goes that idea. So much for that, I guess. We're going to need to craft some more PAL spheres, and I don't have any material. Well, isn't that just the poop? This is a terrible weapon to use for this purpose, and that's alright. Okay, land balls, you can... Oh, I'm out of stamina. I keep forgetting that. You know, you run out of stamina so much in this game, so... Alright, screw you, land ball, and then... Okay. Can we capture? Yep. Okay, good deal. What is going on with the land balls? They are just having a good time, apparently. Let's pick up this material here. Alright, good. So then we're going to have to build a bed, but I'm going to have to... yeah, we're going to have to figure that out. How do we do the axe? Okay, so we're going to need to grab some more wood and grab some more stone. So let me grab some more stone in that case. Oh, wrong button. It's starting to get dark. That way we don't freeze. Okay, campfire. Right over... Oh, let's just do... right there, why not? Oh. I don't think that's how that's supposed to work. Help. Time to completion, are you okay? Okay, well, however that will be, that's fine. Okay. Do we need any more technology? Oh, we do need to do the cloth. We do need the wooden structure set. We do need the straw pal bed. And we need a repair kit. And I need the, I'll leave the actual technology points for now. Let's see. So what do we need for this? We need some more wood and some more fiber, but we need an axe so we can more readily cut the wood. So that's going to be a thing. Actually, I do have enough wool that we can start making that. And as expected, we're starting to get cold, so that's not fun. Seems like our frame rate's... Oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, yeah, no. So we're still having the frame rate issues. So let's try this. Let's try putting it back up to the same medium preset like we were doing before. Except now we're at 1600 by 900. So let's see what that makes the frame rate look like. Okay, so the system RAM usage jumped up to like it was before. And we got a big frame rate dip. Now we're in the low 30s. Yeah, something tells me that that medium preset, something could probably do with the I bet it's probably something to do with the anti-aliasing, because the method that it's using is pretty flippin' intensive. So yeah, I'm sure that's got everything to do with it. Then I can start doing that. All right. Oops, I forgot to collect it like a noob. Okay, there we go. All right, so now I can go ahead and I can switch to the axe, and we're good to go. All right. So I just need to grab myself some more wood. You can frig off tree our little straw pal bed, which is going to be right there for now. That'll do the job. Oh my god, the time to completion thing. Why are you having a stroke? Oh, and the traveler's coming through, and it's like really lagging right now. Well, okay, it's not really lagging. It's still technically playable, about 30 FPS, but, you know, you get the idea. What are you doing here, Mr. Sir? Come here, okay, let me talk to you. What do you have? Nothing I can afford. Okay, never mind. Alright, well, 1600 by 900. It is a little bit more playable, but it looks like we're kind of running into a bind with the CPU around the... well, I was going to say, like, 50-ish FPS mark. It kind of depends. It kind of just trades blows between being CPU bound and GPU bound. So probably testing at a lower resolution is not going to yield much better results, but I'm still going to try it anyway. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and set the game back to my settings from before. Let's see. We had it set to FXAA and the shadows set to medium. Alright, so 1366 by 768 it shall be. So let's go ahead and set that. And now, actually, surprise, surprise, it actually is able to handle the load. Again, me personally, I don't think it's going to go much higher than this. Oh, it actually hit the 90 FPS cap. But, I mean, who's going to be staring at a wall doing that? So that's not really realistic now, is it? But, surprisingly, that's higher than I was expecting it to be. Of course, I'll reserve judgment when it becomes daytime again in the game. So I'll have to give it a moment, but... honestly, it seems pretty surprisingly good right now. I mean, I'll give it that. That's better than I was expecting it to be. Okay, so now that it's technically daytime, Now, let's go see if we can get some more materials so that I can create some more of these. Although, actually, it looks like I can... I can only craft one of them. Okay, well, you know what? 1 is better than 0. I will take what I can get. That sounds good to me. Alright, so then we're just going to need to go and craft some more things. Ooh, we're GPU bound at something around 60 FPS. Interesting. Okay. We're going to need to grab some more material here. Oh, wrong weapon. Let's do this one. Let's go see if we can grab ourselves another lamb ball here. Hey, buddy. Oh, wrong button. Alright. Grab the lamb ball. Oh, that didn't really work. Well, shoot. Yeah, it looks like 1366 by 768. I mean, it seems like it's doable. I can still only make 1. Well, once again, I think I'll take 1 over 0. I need to get some more supplies. That's what I certainly need to do. Come here, Mr. Lamball. How you doing? Hey, that wasn't very nice of you. Oh, you killed my Lamball, you butthole. All right. You know what? Capturing you. I know it's not what I needed at all, but you killed my Lamball. So I can craft 5. That will do. There's more Cativas over here, and grab some more of these berries. Where is another Lamball? Where do they reside? Oh, there's another Palsphere. I'm gonna take that. Are they just not spawning in anywhere? That's mildly annoying. Oh, there's another Palsfield right here. I will take that. Alright. There's so many chickens around. Why are there so many chickens? There's a lamb ball right in my sights. Here, Mr. Lamball. How you doing? Weapon is damaged already. Well, that's a shame. Mr. Lamball, how you doing? That's what I thought. Get in there. Okay, there's that done. Here, buddy. Yeah, it doesn't seem like capturing is all that intensive, and the combat, at least in this early stage, is not too bad. Alright, let's try raising the graphics for 1366 by 768. Let's try the low settings. Alright. Ooh, that really dipped the frame rate right back down. So, I have a feeling it's gotta be something to do with the anti-aliasing at play here. Something that the 1050 Ti just, it can't really handle it. Interesting. Let's see if I get the Fox Parks. I have a feeling that's going to be a no, but I am certainly going to try for it anyway. Hey, why are you running? Where are you going? Where are you running there, fun? Frick. Well, I guess I needed some more wood. You cannot hide from me, boy. Would you like to say hello? Hi. Hey, that wasn't very cash money. You probably shouldn't do that. I'll try it. See if my luck will persist. Probably not. Yeah, no, it's not. I was expecting that to not work. Hey. Let's try it again. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Sweet. Bottomless stomach. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Pinglet. Level 4. I could probably push my luck. Let's just see what happens. Alright, come on. Can I do it? Probably not. That was pretty low. Nah, that's about what I expected. Right, hey, 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 come here, come here. Hey, nah, that's not gonna work. Hey, that wasn't very cash money. You probably shouldn't do that. Let's try it again. Please work, please work, please work. Ooh, we did it. All right. Good deal. All right, there's no way in hell I'm going to get those. So I'm not even going to try. I think instead what I'm going to do, I'm going to try raising our preset one more time. Let's try the medium preset for all time's sake. And looks like our magic number is 31 after everything's rendered in. No, okay, it kind of went up a little bit. We're in the mid-30s. And I mean, okay, if you're playing this on a big screen, this is going to look really soft because of the 1366 by 768 resolution. That's just for sure. But honestly, I mean, even as it stands right now, I mean, the graphics of this game do actually hold up at the lower resolutions. The only thing that really doesn't, in my opinion, would be the text. But that just kind of comes naturally with the lower resolution. You know, one thing that'd be really cool is if they added FSR support to the game. I just noticed it stuttered there briefly. If they added FSR support to the game, I'm sure that would make a world of difference. Because honestly, hey, come here. Hey. No running away from me. Come here. I guess you're not the one. Even though you're level 1. Here, I'll take you number 2. This is not going to work now, is it? Hey, I didn't ask for your permission. No. This is not going to work either. Yeah, no, that's about what I expected. You know what? Hey, that wasn't very cash money. Ooh, this frame rate's not really holding up all that well. Oh, yeah. Definitely going to have to stick to the lower quality settings when it comes to this. Yeah. Ugh. Not too good. Not too good. I need some more of those. Ah, frick, I need more wood. Hey. Quit that. Let's see, I need to actually eat something. So let's do the lamb ball mutton, because I don't know, why not? Which one was this? It was... What was that? Hey, quit that. Frick, you made me miss. Ah, you stupid thing. See, that's the thing. You know, you really need that. Oh, for God's sakes, of course I need stone. Really? Get to this. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Hey, get the pickaxe. There we go. Hey, no, I didn't ask for your patronage. Alright, and... goodbye. Certainly easier when you have more people playing in a session, that's for sure. Okay. Good enough for now. Alright. I think we could probably try 720p, but I honestly think for right now, I think we've got enough footage here. I think we could pretty much say the conclusion, and we can kind of work from there. So, minimum specifications in Palworld. Is it viable? Yeah, I would say it is. If you're playing at 1080p, in my opinion, and I'm going to bring it up here on the screen just so you can see it for yourself. In my opinion, what I would recommend, do your VSync and cap the frame rate to 60. Do anti-aliasing set to FXAA and set the shadow quality to medium. If you do these settings, you basically kind of get a nice sweet spot of the quality and performance. I mean, it's not going to be the best. You might be able to increase the draw distance, sure, and maybe you might be able to get away with that. But in my opinion, I think that's going to be your sweet spot quality settings at all of these resolutions, including 1080p, and it's not going to look like a PS2 game. So that's what I would say. But honestly, I mean, until they get more patches into the game and they start optimizing it a little bit more, we'll see what happens. Me personally, I think the GTX 1052 gig is a bit much of a minimum requirement. I really think that they should put in the 1050 Ti 4 gig as the minimum requirement GPU. It seems like it holds up surprisingly well in addition to the CPU combination. So anybody in the development team watching this video, that's what I would suggest. Don't even have to listen to me. That's just what I would suggest. But if you guys do that, I would certainly appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of people would probably appreciate it too, just because I feel like this is a lot more not optimized, but like I feel like this runs a lot better than you would expect. And I think a lot of people would probably appreciate that. So I think that's been it for Palworld. Hopefully you like what you saw. And, well, I'm actually still surprised too. But if you liked it, well then you know what button to press if I can aim my hand on camera here. Get subscribed down below because I do plan to use more video slots in the future for the capture card and to have some fun with it. And hopefully we'll do some more benchmarking in the near future. So with that being said, thank you all for coming to watch, and I'll see you all next time.